Morning everyone, Emma here from High CI. How are you doing? Hope you had a great weekend. Buzzing off of my exercise routine this morning. I did a 30-minute bike ride and then I did a 10-minute core and abs session. Excuse the wet hair, but still just buzzing off of that session this morning. I wanted to chat to you guys. I made a video last week about the networking events that I've been to, my dive into the networking scene in Northampton. Really good, really positive. I guess I tried lots of different types of networking events to see which one would really suit me best. Being a huge introvert and having that, that internal thinking going on all the time, networking is not a natural state for me. I really do have to push myself into that environment. And the environment that works best for me is more of an intimate setting, probably less than 25 people, where you don't feel too intimidated, sort of standing up in front of a bunch of new people. I'm sure that will get better as I get to know these people, but when it's your first one, it can be quite intimidating. But it was great, and I was really welcomed into the event, so thankful to the organisers for that. And would like to do more of it, really. I would like to do regular networking events with that community so that I can build relationships, make some friends. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And also try and help people out in the local area. I met a lady who actually works for a homeless shelter, homeless charity. And, really interesting to know that, third sector, I think they call it, or the charity sector, needs support from Lean and CI. She had mentioned to me how some of those processes were really inefficient. She could see it, and she was really frustrated, but it takes some time to really understand what might need to happen first. And so we're going to try and grab a one-to-one coffee at some point, just to see, how we can take this conversation forward and how we can help each other. So that's interesting. Also, can see my strategic partnerships forming. Like anything, I think CI builds heavily off of strategic partnerships. You can almost pair CI with anything. You can pair it with marketing, you can pair it with law, you can pair it with finance, you can pair it with customer service, you can pair it with technology, and there's individual benefits to pairing CI with those particular industries. Because one, they're all unique in their own way, but two, it offers a different take on it every time. So for instance, technology, CI can partner with technology companies very, very fruitfully because of the processes that sit behind the technology that is needed to be put into the business. Compare with law really, really well because there's a lot of paperwork in the legal sector, probably less now from when I was studying law, but still there's a lot of paperwork and a lot of processes to work through. So it's great that I can meet all these different connections, but also I will need support from those networks because as a young business, I need things. I need things like insurance. I need things like public liability. I need things to help my business tick on a daily basis. So it's good to build up the people that I know quickly that can do that kind of stuff. So yeah, overall really positive. The bigger type networking events, probably not for me, probably not how I would do business. And that's okay. That's not anything against the way that networking event was organised or anything like that. It's just for me personally, that's not how I'm able to do things. One, because I'm introverted and I need to be able to really clearly listen and then take away that information and process it and really process it to be able to come up with some different options and different ways that I could possibly help or not. But also because I really clam up in much bigger groups, so yeah, I know what works for me, what doesn't work for me. And I think that's intuition, business intuition, just really working at its best. And one thing I have learned is to trust my intuition a lot more. So I'm learning stuff about me as well every day, which is fantastic. what is going on this week? So this week is all about my website. It's nearly ready. I've just got to load the content into it, which I'm going to really focus on this week. We do have a little bit of a walking holiday at the end of the week. We're taking the dogs up to Norfolk. So I really want to do Monday to Thursday, just plowing through the content. I haven't paid a marketeer or a copywriter or anyone like that. I think I can do this myself because I've only got 5 pages, and one of them is a contact me page. So not a lot of content on that page. And so I think I've written enough to be able to entice the customer to stay on my page and read a bit more. I'm going to do a video. I've been practicing with a special coach on the video that I want to upload into the website so that people can see who I am, the person behind High CI. So really good, fun week to look forward to, ending in a dog walking holiday. They'll love that, and I love that as well. So that's really good. In other news, connections that I've made quite recently have become very fruitful. There is the potential of work now coming through to High CI, which is amazing, and what it's all been working for. Couple of squeaky months behind me where I was like, oh gosh, is this actually going to work? But just sort of coming back to my beliefs, coming back to what I did this for in the first place and where it's going to take us, to really help me self-soothe and just push right through every day. Again, I think I told you I do a lot of exercise, which really helps me mentally prepare for the day and do hard things. One of the things I love about the routines that I do is they do say you're built to do hard things. And for the last 5 years, I've been working out every morning and pushing through those barriers. And I take that practice and put it into my work every day so I can push through hard barriers every day as well. Some of it is fun though, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's all hard, but when you are on your own, you really have to dig deep to find that inside of you. Anyway, so all about the website this week, and like I said, some work starting to come through. So hopefully I'll be able to update you with some good news. I won't be sharing what that is, it will all be confidential, but just to show the journey of actually it's taken me a fair while to keep building to get to where I need to be. One thing I do though, which I did post on LinkedIn if you guys saw it, is something called a win tin. Now, I will be very transparent and say I'm not going to call it a win tin from now on, because when I Googled win tin, it turns out that they are a political prisoner in China. So I don't think it's right that I continue to call it a win tin. So let's call it a success tin, okay? So every day I put a little post-it note in this old Christmas biscuit tin. It's actually a musical biscuit tin, so that's nice, and I'm going to actually save it for next year because it plays a lovely Christmas song. But inside it are all of the wins that I've had, no matter how small, and they could be really tiny, because I think it's really important that you acknowledge the tiny things, because the small things lead to bigger things. And that's exactly how it's building up. So I've got a couple more little post-it notes to put in there today, because I've had a few small wins already. But what I'm going to do is just not really read through the post-it notes until the end of this year, until the end of 2024, because I want to look back and see how much I've achieved in 2024. Just to, again, embed that power, embed that self-belief, and embed that, this is gonna be fruitful and, successful. So, and carry on, because, there are statistics out there about businesses, and 1 in every whatever fails. I don't want that to be me, so I want to embed some good habits and practices for myself so that I can drive the business forward. So that is the success tin, for reasons that I shall not go into. In other news, I wanted to share with you a couple of books that I think are really great reading from a continuous improvement perspective. One is, continuous improvement starts with yourself, I think, and you have to, breathe it and live it to be able to really give it to others as something that will help them. You've got to show that, you work on yourself as well. So one of the first books I ever read when I started my lean journey was, look at me in my library, was this one by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And I know that sounds like quite deep for me to, say that this is a really good book on a Monday morning, but it was the start of my journey. It was the start of really understanding me, understanding where I was going and how I was going to get there as an individual from a personal perspective. And for me, this book is all about letting go. Letting go of stuff that has happened, letting go of the things that are holding you back. And actually, it was only me that was holding me back, nobody else. It's more deep than that. But if you're willing to look into yourself, do some self-reflection, understand yourself a bit more, and understand how this is all about continuous improvement from a personal perspective, then I would highly recommend that. Also, I think standard books, this one, Creating a Lean Culture, that is, a really good book to get if you're starting out on your lean journey. This one was by David Mann. We've also got this one. This is a really brilliant book, Human Lean. This one is by John Bicheno and Noel Hennessy. Hope I've pronounced that right, guys. But again, really understanding the behaviours behind lean. We talk about head, hearts, minds, and more in this book, and understanding how, that is really the basis of lean. And then that really leads on nicely to this one, Deep Excellence by John Quirk from SA Partners. Lovely man, had the pleasure of meeting him recently. Again, this is really about behaviours and habits and how this comes through from an organisational perspective. So there's a couple of really, really good books there, and I don't do huge amounts of reading, but I do read the lean books because I find it so interesting and really helpful as I start to, branch out and do things for myself. So that's about it this morning. I don't think I've got any other updates. I hope you guys all have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Take care.